Yo, what in the actual fuck is going on out here in Cali, man? Last year my rent was $925. I just opened up this letter and it says your new rent amount is $2,300 starting on the 1st. No upgrades, no renovations. They didn't even add a fucking washer and a dryer. This is crazy, man. I mean, is everybody else dealing with this? Or am I the only one getting screwed here?
Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Alex and today we're going to be talking about insane rent prices. Very high rent prices, guys. So get ready. Imagine like $2,400 for water closet. Rent is so high now it's starting to feel personal. $2,400 months for a 500 square feet apartment with a view of a dumpster, and no, it doesn't include parking, laundry, or basic human dignity. You're not renting a place to live, you're paying to not be homeless. They said location, location, location. Yeah, right next to a gas station and 3 raccoons. Luxury apartment means gray windy floors, thin walls, and a gym with 2 dumbbells, something like this. That's real terrible, guys. Meanwhile, your landlord just raised rent again because of inflation and vibes. You pay half your paycheck for a place you Berlin and roommates, more like co-survivors for the rent apocalypse. Splitting a 2-bedroom with 3 adults and a dog is now totally normal. What to move? Good luck. Application fees and income requirements from outer space. This is what is going on right now, guys, and it's terrible. So let's dive into the video and watch, guys.
Now, I'm not the best at math, as y'all probably know from past videos, but make this make sense to me. I'm apartment hunting, right? And I'm looking some everywhere. I ended up coming across some condos that are income based, right? But they're beautiful condos, beautiful townhouses / condos, beautiful, right? The rent for a 660 square foot house, 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom, no appliances included, $1,400. No utilities included, no appliances included. You heard me correctly, $1,400. But you have to have an income max of $36,000 a year. Now, let's do the math, and I'll add this in because I'm just talking while I'm driving. 36,000 divided by 12 is what? Place it right there. And let's say rent is $1,400. So subtract that. Let's say water is like, I don't know. I use a lot of water. I've never had a water bill. Water is usually included. It was included in my last apartment, so I don't even know how much water costs. So let's just say water is like, I don't know, $20 a month. Internet is $80. That's how much it was when I had AT&T. So let's do $20. Let's do $80 minus. And DTE, which is heat and gas, whatever it's called. Let's say that's, I don't know, $50 a month. You ain't even ate yet. How much money you got left? What do you mean? How is the rent that high, but you still have an income max for one person? Max is $36,000 a year. 2 people, I think it was like 50. So you want people to be broke and still be able to afford $1,400 in rent with no utilities, and I have to go buy my own appliances? First of all, I don't qualify based on the income alone. But I still indulged in it because I made the appointment, so let me see. It didn't say online that it was income based because it didn't say until I got in there. She said, I was like, oh, I'm here now. Let's go look at it. But what the fudge? How you gonna be income based and you still pinch pocket my pockets, penny pinching my pocket? I don't know if any of that made sense because I'm sweating bullets because it just worked out. But I don't understand.
Yeah, it's terrible, guys, And I can tell you that $20 for water, it's not so high. I know examples where it's a lot higher just for the water. It can be even 50 or 60 or even $100 only for the water. It depends from the area where you live. I can tell you that for sure. Okay, guys, let's dive into the next video and watch, guys. I have a lot of videos for you. I hope you enjoy such content. Please like, share, subscribe. It's really important for me to grow my channel.
So this month my rent went up, and obviously every year the rent goes up. We all know about the annual rent increase. However, this time is a little different because the increase was way more than it was before, and it's just frustrating because like where do they expect us to just get this extra money from? And it's like every year my rent is going up, but I'm not seeing any improvements to my unit. I'm not getting new appliances. I'm not getting any sort of updates in my apartment. I mean, there's a laundry room in the basement of our apartment. I don't even see that being updated. None of the common areas are updated, and I think that's what frustrates me the most is like not even reaping any sort of benefits from these increases. And because of the increase, I decided I wasn't signing another 12-month lease because the apartment is not worth the new price I'd be paying for it. I know I could find another apartment that's way less money, but like why? Why do these landlords feel the need to increase the rent and buy so much money? Like the small increases are not that big of a deal, but when the increase is like hundreds of dollars more, it's insane. Like how do they expect us to pay that? Where do they expect this extra money to come from? Like, are we just supposed to pull it out of thin air? Just make it magically appear? Hundreds of extra dollars that we can put towards rent?
Yeah, agree. You know, the landlords want to have more money from us, guys. Definitely. And I know how they want us to get that, you know. Definitely. Probably think that all this money's come from the air, for sure. Okay, guys, let's watch another video about the rents in Chicago metropole area, you know, what is going on in Chicago area. So let's check.
Yo, when the Chicago rent gets so high, like, how are we normalizing $2,000 for a studio? Like, you're gonna sit there and tell me you'll live in this shoebox for the next 12 months and you give me $2,000, like, with a straight face too. $2,000, shoebox, all yours. Like, I need 2 jobs for that. Like, what are we doing here?
What do you think, guys? Let me know in the comments below. That's pretty rough, for sure. Okay, let's jump into the next video and watch.
I moved into my apartment in June 2023. I was paying $1,790 in rent. I just got notified that March 1st, my rent will be increasing to $2,023. And before everyone gets in the comments and says, you're doing this, you're making your choices. Okay, first of all, fuck you. I have a 2-bedroom apartment because I have a 1.5-year-old son, and I got this apartment because I researched every apartment within a 30-mile radius of where my dad lives, because my dad lives with my nephew. I'm the legal guardian of my nephew, and I need to be able to have quick, close access to my nephew. I take him to appointments, I pick him up from school, etc. What's shitty is that this is the market rate. So this is pretty standard if you want a 2-bedroom apartment. And mine's nice because it's new, but it's not fancy. It was made really like everything's plastic and falling apart, and for all intents and purposes, it's not a quality apartment. It's safe. I love living here, and that's why I'm living here. But I was talking to my landlord, and I was like, listen, I know this isn't your fault. I know you're not setting the prices of these, but what the fuck? This is not like a sustainable, like, how the fuck is anyone supposed to like maintain their tenancy? I said, should I expect another huge rent increase? And he's like, yeah, in September there's going to be another like $80 to $120 rent increase. And I'm like, so let me get this fucking straight. I had to pay $5,500 to just get into this fucking apartment. I could live in a 1-bedroom. I don't want to because I just figured out crib training with my son. I pay electric and I pay fucking gas, which is another, you know, 100 to 120 a month, like on top of that. I hate that the issue is that I'm at a point in my life where paying another $120 a month in rent is like pissing me off. I know that the solution is to just make more money so that this is going to happen and I'm going to have more wiggle room in my budget and blah, blah, blah. But what pisses me off is if you're not making $6,000 or $8,000 as a single mom a month, you're just like, how are you going to make it? Who wants to be roommates with people that they don't know? And how many people do you know that you could trust to live with and that it wouldn't ruin your friendship if you lived with them? And what if I just want to live in my own fucking spot? What if I really like the peace of mind that I have in my own goddamn apartment? Why isn't there some sort of fucking clause that says, oh, you're a single mom with narcolepsy and you have a fucking disability and you're making X amount of money and we're going to give you like a little bit of a break. And I understand like life is a jungle and no one's trying to give out handouts. You know, you're hearing about how Elon Musk just uncovered all the government fucking all the money that's going everywhere. Like, the government isn't, in general, they're not looking to help people. We know that. We just keep coming back to, like, okay, the solution is just to make more money, but there's only so many fucking hours in the day. I spent 45 minutes today researching other apartments in the area. I maybe have a tour scheduled next week, but here's the thing. It's like, yeah, if I get into this other apartment, like, what is that going to look like, and how much do I have to put down? It's usually first and last month's rent, and then there's a damage deposit, and then there's usually a refundable pet deposit on top of that of a couple $100 or and then, you know, like at least, and then a monthly pet deposit. And I have 2 cats, and I don't want to get rid of my cat. I'm not making this video to be like, oh, poor me, like blah blah, but where my brain goes is I zoom out and I think about the bigger picture, and I think about like the regular people who are just trying to fucking survive, and like the average income, and like what it cost to just literally survive. That's not like getting ahead, that's not saving money, that's not potentially owning a piece of property. That's literally just like, I'm making it until the next month. What is there, like 800,000 homeless people in the US? And when you think about like a homeless person, your mind might go to like all these extremes, but it's like, no, people become homeless because there's factors that are outside of their control, and they're doing their fucking best, and they get up every day and they have good intentions and they work, and they're not like selling themselves on OnlyFans, and they're trying to like do good in the world. But fucking bills are massive, man. It's expensive as fuck to just live and eat.
Yeah, I agree, guys. Sorry for this lady. Hope she's gonna be okay. And, you know, definitely we also need to think about that the rent prices is increasing. We also have the pet fees, all this stuff, you know. We'll love our little bodies, the cat, dogs, and you know, and we need to pay for them. In some apartment complexes, you cannot even rent an apartment with cats or dogs, which is terrible, definitely. And the fees is very high, and the rent price is going up and up, and it's terrible. She's completely right. You know, she want to live alone. A lot of us want to live alone, not with the roommates, definitely. But it's life. You need to think about it strategically. Maybe sometimes it's even better just to live, you know, with roommates. What do you think, guys? Let me know in the comments below. I will be happy to read them all. Okay, let's jump into the next video and watch, guys. Okay, we're gonna see the video about the gentleman from Texas that, you know, that paying pretty high buck for his apartment, and you know, he want to share this story with us. So let's jump to the video and watch, guys.
Can we talk about these rental prices in Dallas? Here's the thing, y'all. I thought I was making good money, and I still think I am. But I'm looking at some of the places, the nicer places in Dallas, and I'm just like, now how the fuck are y'all affording this? I could move there if I wanted to, but that would be half of the paycheck. $2,600 in rent? That don't make sense to me. That's half of the paycheck. That don't make sense to me. I'd be sick. So, and I know y'all ain't making 6 figures. I know that whole building is not making 6 figures. So I'm Confucius. So it's either a lot of people doing stupid shit with money, or there's a lot of people dead ass. 50% of their rent's going to, 50% of the paycheck's going to rent. Half of their income's going to rent. Because there's no way. Unless y'all making 6 figures. And I believe it. But I know everybody in that building is not making 6 figures. A lot of those buildings. See, this is what we call Dallas millionaires. 30K millionaires. There's no fucking way, bro. Here I am thinking I'm successful. I made it. Clearly not. Because y'all out here paying $2,700 in rent. Now, what's the salary? Because even if you're making 90, that shit, it's not. No. That's not how that works. Okay, bye.
Yeah, you see, Definitely. It's terrible, and it's in Dallas where the salaries is not so high, like like for example in California and other places. But definitely in these places, the rent price is much higher. We're definitely gonna move probably to California and think about that, like how much people pay rent there. I try to put the rent price from all of the country guys and include them in our show, guys. So I hope you enjoy that. So let's jump into the next video about California and watch, okay?
I need to know why LA is so fucking hard to rent right now. I make $200,000 to $250,000 a year. I work my ass off. I have a 798 credit score. I just put my name in for an apartment house for $4,000 and I got denied. I wrote a cover letter. I got her phone number. We chatted. I told her my boyfriend's handy. I make more than enough money and my credit score is phenomenal. Why? I need to know. If there is anybody that could tell me why I keep getting rejected by these places where I have more than enough money to rent, I don't get it. It's so frustrating, and it like breaks my heart every single time. Every single time. I am literally almost started crying when I got the rejection email today. And I know that's so silly, but like, I get excited. I start designing the house and it's so exciting and it's a new fresh start. I love, love, love moving. The 4 places that we have put our name in have not gotten. I'm so confused. I do not understand it.
Yeah, I'm also confused, if she have like a 798 score and she's making 200 to 50 per year. But it's very good. I don't know what is going on, So I'm also confused. Why it's happening like this? Let me know in the comments below, guys. Maybe you are from LA and you understand what is going on there, Because I'm very, very confused, for sure. Yeah, I'm totally confused here, guys. Completely confused, guys. What they want from us. They want you making like 3-4x the rent, who's out here making 8-10 grand a month. Not a lot of people here that doing this. You miss one payment and they treat you like a criminal. But when the heater breaks, well, they telling you we'll send you someone next month. You can save for a house because the rent already is a mortgage. You cannot save it for a house, definitely. And studio apartments now go for the same price as beachfront condos in 2015. Imagine that, guys. It's really true. Something like this. Some people pay more to live in a city box than others do for an actual house in the suburbs, and do not even start on market rates. It's just a fancy term for price gouging. We're not tenants, we're hostages with leases. The American dream is now just having an until laundry. Renting used to be a stepping stone. Now it's quicksand. It's not about living comfortably. It's about just staying afloat. Rent is due again, and your soul is screaming. But hey, at least the toilet works sometimes. This is what is going on here, guys. Let's jump in the next video and watch, guys.
Okay, now granted, I haven't looked for apartments in a long time. I was at my last apartment from February of 2022 until this past March. So that's 3 years, same place. So there's no need for me to look at other apartments, right? Easy process back then. I applied, they did not do a credit check. I did the deposit, I moved in 4 months later. Simple. Now, you have to make 4 times the rent. You have to make $80,000 a year. You have to do this, you have to do that. And then what am I getting back in return? I'm giving you my hard-earned $1,600 for a 2-bedroom, 1 bathroom, 800 square feet. No washer and dryer. No utilities included. So I'm just paying for the location. This place has an income requirement for a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, or I'm sorry, a 2-bedroom, 1 bathroom. You have to make $71,000 a year. I don't know how much that is a month. I don't know. Somebody do the math. I don't know. But no utilities are included. Water's not even included. Gas is not included. What? What? And I don't understand how these companies, how do you calculate what you charge for rent? And how are you okay saying out of your mouth for a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom, 660 square feet, you need to give me $1,550 a month. But you have to pay for your own electric, water, gas, internet. And we don't have a clubhouse. And we don't have a pool. And we have a dog park, but you don't get assigned parking.
It's pretty interesting, you know. It's terrible, guys, you know. Such a huge rent and without any extra benefits. So sorry for this lady. Let's jump to another video and watch, guys. I think it's gonna be pretty interesting one, you know. This lady is having a pretty good thought that she wants to share with us, so let's watch.
I'm realizing my husband and I can never break up because, baby, I don't have any idea how I would be able to afford rent now. I've been living on my own since 2017. Like, I've rented apartments since 2017. And that, to me, is really not that long ago to be able to say that rent's doubled in some of these apartments. Like, I remember paying maybe $700 in the majority of these apartments, and some of them have already gotten to almost $1,400. How are they justifying that? Like, how are they justifying that big of an increase? Like, they probably haven't been updated since I lived there too. First apartment I ever rented with my friends. We rented it for, I think the cheapest apartment that we could rent was like $790, something like that. And then we got a 2-bedroom, so it was closer to $1,000, but we had 4 roommates. We just divided it amongst all of us. And my rent was like $250. But I remembered that the cheapest one they had was like $790. What is this? What is this increase? That's insane. The cheap rent is almost doubled. And I need to emphasize, this was not in like some crazy rich city. This was in Chesapeake, Virginia, like a very average city. Then I moved because I found a cheaper apartment across town because my first apartment was actually kind of nice. And when we found the cheaper one, it was like maybe $700. This one is $1,035 for the absolute cheapest model. Was not in a crazy good area of town either. Now, this one is insane to me for a few reasons. I need to give context though, because it's going to sound like a good deal anyway. First of all, I lived in this one in 2018, and this ad hasn't been updated since like around 21, so this is only like a 3-year difference. It was also in a completely different city, and this was Petersburg, Virginia. If anyone knows anything about Petersburg, Virginia, it is not a great area to live in, and I lived in one of the more rough apartment complexes in that area. I loved it. Everyone there was really nice to me. I never realized it wasn't a good quality apartment complex until like bugs started happening because my own roommate was so psycho, I never noticed the crazies around me. My rent was like $350 and my other roommate was $350. So our apartment was $700. The absolute cheapest apartment that you can get there, because we didn't even live in the cheapest. We lived in a 2-bedroom. So to get a 1-bedroom is a $200 price increase, which is crazy to me because this is to live in the middle of Petersburg, Virginia, to live in a very rough part of town, to live in a 500 square foot 1-bedroom apartment. When like 4 years before this, you could get a 2-bedroom apartment for $750. If we broke up, I genuinely have no idea how I'd be able to afford rent because this would be one whole paycheck. And then my daughter's daycare would be my next. Like, that would be everything.
Yeah, it's terrible. Definitely. You know, you see, this is why I decided to show you this video, guys. You see, this lady just showed exactly how much the rent increased through time. Was with specific examples. So, I mean, this is terrible, you know, double. You saw that. It's just crazy, guys. Let's jump to the next video, guys, and watch.
To my people living in South Florida, are we feeling well compensated? Literally every person I've met in South Florida has a roommate, lives with family members. Some people can't leave their home until they're literally 30 years old. Minimum wage is like $13, $15 in Florida. South Florida is literally almost like New York, California. Like the cost of living is so expensive. Rent for like a 2-2 is literally almost $3,000. To buy a house right now, minimum is gonna be about $350,000-$400,000 just for a home. On top of most of those have HOAs, they have the property taxes are through the roof, the home insurance is through the roof. Nobody is really able to buy a home anymore. Everyone's just renting, and so landlords are literally just spiking up the rent year after year after year. I think for you to be able to live on your own in South Florida, you need to be making minimum like $150,000 a year. What jobs are paying people in their 20s $150,000 a year in South Florida? I don't know. I don't know, but I would love to know. I would love to know who's paying that much because I need that job. I think every job needs to do a market analysis and really see what the cost of living is and how much do people need to live on their own. Because everyone should be making, in South Florida, minimum, just to survive, $75,000-$80,000 a year.
Yeah, you see, we have a bad and insane rent prices all over. I can tell you that for sure, guys. So, thank you for your like, share, subscribe. So it's really important for me. I do appreciate this. It's helped my channel grows. I'm done for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and we'll see you in the next episode. Be safe, guys, and bye-bye for now.